Even though DGN is taking a sabbatical, CD Projekt Red was off the ball as always this week, as despite its original denial, the 1.2 update patch for Cyberpunk 2077 reportedly contains a collection of quest files that seem to point towards some unreleased DLC that was not meant for release. And that's just one of the beads of wisdom we picked up. I'm your host Lorne Riseley, and join me as we take a look back at 10 things we learnt this week. This week we learnt that Epic has managed to lose more money than it would take to make Ninja watchable, as Epic is set to lose at least $330 million in its fight to the death against its arch-rival Steam, mainly due to its strategy of doling out exclusive games and free titles on its Epic Games Store in a bid to overtake its water-based pun of a counterpart. Epic's legal fight with Apple is giving us a sneak peek at the spending over at the Epic Games Store, like committing around $440 million to exclusivity deals in 2020 alone. Someone really should look into that Apple versus Epic lawsuit at some point. But at least Epic's Tim Sweeney is perfectly okay with losing that kind of wad. But will people stick around when those two things dry up and they actually focus on earning money? Feeling glum for your chums at Epic's money loss? Well, don't feel too bad, as this week Nintendo has done all the feeling blue for you, as its Switch Lite has been revealed and it's looking like it ate the chewing gum against Willy Wonka's warnings. This week I learnt that I need to go back and examine games I love for games hidden within them, as a previously unknown Easter egg in Halo 5 Guardians has been revealed, and it's only a whole racing minigame of Halo Kart. After a popular Twitter thread tempted developers to reveal their favourite Easter eggs in games they've worked on, Halo designer and Mario Kart plagiarist Patrick Wren responded that the evacuation mission features hidden Halo Kart for 4 players and challenges them to race one another, with the winner receiving a heavy weapon for their trouble. I think I'll check Batman Arkham Knight for a Guitar Hero simulator, because it seems just about as plausible. Speaking of Halo, this week we learnt that there's a new official Halo 3 map. Wait a minute, is this 2021? It is, right? What the hell's going on? This week we learnt patching ain't easy, man, as some Outriders players are reporting that a new patch released to stabilise the shooter has completely wiped their inventories of all their gear, leaving them feeling empty and hollow. What I call the Pattinson effect. Originally designed to fix some minor server errors, the patch some are calling the envy of Bethesda is causing its own aforementioned problems. Always great news for a patch, resulting in some players refusing to return to the game until the problem has been resolved. And if CDPR has set any kind of standard in recent times, players can be reassured that the next patch will fix the existing issues, but may inadvertently result in the birth of Skynet. Go Ryu and Chun-Li, as this week we learnt that Power Rangers Battle for the Grid is getting a Street Fighter crossover, with Ryu and Chun-Li transformed into the Crimson Hawk Ranger and Blue Phoenix Ranger respectively. It's coming the 25th of May, it'll set you back $12.50, but the 90s kid in me is losing his mind with excitement to see what a Zord doing a Hadouken looks like. This week, we learnt that there was bad news for fans of ultimately disappointing gaming movies people will defend as being better than they really remember them being in 30 years, as the upcoming Dungeons & Dragons movie has been delayed, moving to a 2023 launch. The second time, in fact, it's been delayed, originally pushed back by something called COVID. Have you heard of that? Never fear, however, the delay follows a trend of delays of films such as Mortal Kombat and Black Widow, so while you'll need to make do with Godzilla vs. Logan Paul for the next few months, it's still slated for a full release. And who knows? D&D is casting Chris Pine in it, so it might actually be terrible if Wonder Woman 1984 is to be taken as a reference. It turns out Siri can't keep a secret, as this week she revealed the date of an upcoming Apple event on the 20th of April before it had even been announced. I only hope Siri doesn't spill my beans now. I fear I have told her too much. This week we learnt that there is no detail in a job posting that can't be blown into a news story, as a job ad for the new BioShock game in development mentions a tremendously generic term, open world. And as a result, every gaming publication has gone nuts in dreaming up scenarios for the new game. Well, when in Rome, it's going to be the Skyrim of the series. It's going to rival GTA 5, mark my words. And finally, this week, we learnt that the team behind last year's excellent Panzer Dragoon remake will be giving the House of the Dead a brand new coat of paint on the Switch later this year. It's a game where you shoot zombies into tiny little pieces, which is pretty much how Sega has treated all their classic IPs. Seriously, what is it going to take to get a Phantasy Star game that doesn't have the word online in the title? Sega will never learn. Well, if they watch this series, they might, because that, gamers and gamettes, was 10 things that we learnt this week.
Hey,
Hey, thanks for checking out this debut edition of 10 Things We Learned This Week. If you like this kind of news show, then you should know that we're going to be bringing you another high-speed episode almost every Sunday. Now here's the question I have for you. What news did we miss this week? Is there anything that you saw that you think we should have covered? Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. We might even try and mention it next week. Who knows? In other news, we'll be back next week with reviews of Ashwalkers, Where's Samantha, Astro, Aqua Kitty, and Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion? Wait, is that a real game? It is? Okay, well it sounds good to me. And if that sounds good to you, then you should click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,